This is a clarion call to say that this country is going back to white people. And if I, McKenzie, was the president, and Kagame comes from me like that, I would have come the same way, yo, master, that, you did. Rob Hussey was one of them. I said to Rob in his face, and he's going to watch this so he can say if I'm lying. I said, why don't you speak up? It's not the end of Julius. But it's going to go through a rough election 2026. That's the first thing America did wrong. To believe this fringe racist that goes on and say white people are under siege. That's not true. President Zuma can't be stopped by the ANC. He knows them. President Zuma can be stopped by the GNU.
Spread the fire, welcome back to SMWX, and today I can proudly say that we have delivered. You have virtually begged me to bring Minister Gayton McKenzie onto this platform, and he has very graciously accepted our invitation. Minister, we're going to break the internet with this one.
I'm going to take it. This is the only way I'm breaking the internet. So if you throw it down.
You know, I first realized that you were the real deal as a politician when you gave me a serious clap on the SABC.
No, but I think they did you dirty because they just threw you in the...
Yeah.
I knew that. They're like, Mackenzie's coming, come.
Yeah.
Take this, ask him this. And watching your subsequent interviews, I could see you doing deep research, you're reading, you have time, and you have done what the best thing ever. You said, I'm going to branch out.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave a top corporate job. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And that is what most people fear. They are powerful beyond means, but they're scared to come out of the shadow of a boss or familiarity. And what you've done, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There's so much we could talk about, but our country is in a fascinating moment, and you've made some comments about President Trump, and I'm so interested in what you think of this moment in our country, with the US being quite aggressive in its rhetoric towards South Africa, but at the same time, we can't deny that we need the US. So how are you thinking about this moment, especially as the president said we won't be bullied recently?
Yeah, no, I think the president is right that he shouldn't be bullied. No president should be bullied. And I think for me, that was brilliant what he said. But I also want to say that America needs South Africa in particular. And South Africa needs America in particular. It's our second biggest trading partner. But I think where I think America is wrong and where South Africa is wrong, it's number one, America believes this nonsense. And they've used improper channels. That's not how you speak to another president. A president shouldn't read on the internet what you think or your dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing America did wrong. But the biggest sin, I think, was to believe this fringe racist that goes on and say white people are under siege. That's not true. That's not true. But I think where we have erred as a country, in my opinion, Burkina Faso or any other country, or Lesotho, Lesotho gives us water, so it's a wrong example. Burkina Faso cannot wake up tomorrow and tell us, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Sure.
But you see, America gives us 17% of our funding for the fight against HIV/AIDS come from America. AGOA is a concession that Americans have made.
Yeah.
Now, when a person gives you money, now people get angry with me, but I know the rules of life that fits me. I don't have gray rules.
Yeah.
I don't believe life is gray. When a person gives you money, you cannot ignore that person, and that person has a right to ask you questions.
Sure.
I do think that we need to address the Americans and try to fix the relationship. The last thing on this issue I want to say is, you know, there's a lot of people that said I'm ass leaking. Maybe they're right. I think maybe they're right. I can't argue that. But you see, a leader does not make you an ordinary person. It makes you a person leading ordinary people. A leader must not have an ego. A leader must say, My people are going to die. People are going to die if they stop PEPFAR.
Sure.
Doctors are going to lose their jobs. Nurses are going to lose their jobs. And if we lose AGOA, a lot of industries, businesses is going to die. Now, as a leader, I need to put that before my ego. If it means I have to leak us for my people to stay alive, I, as Gayton McKenzie, not a GNU, I would do that. If it means I got to leak us for industries to survive and people to survive, I will do that. I can't be arrogant. You see, it's like a poor man's arrogance. It's a curse. No, if you're poor and you're arrogant, it's a curse. Like, I don't care, but you have nothing. You gotta have, and these are things that's uncomfortable to say,
Absolutely.
but necessary to say.
And maybe it's our own fault because over the last 30 years, we've allowed ourselves to become so weak that we can now be pushed around.
Yeah, but I think it's you know, what people need to understand about South Africa and what we as the GNU need to understand and learn very fast. We are the wealthiest country in the world. You see, and I'm not speaking as a person that reads about minerals.
Yeah.
I've made my money in minerals.
Yeah.
I've become rich because of minerals. We have the biggest, we are number one when it comes to chrome. We're number one when it comes to platinum. We're number one when it comes to gold. I can go on and on. And I think coal, I think we're number 3, if I'm not mistaken. You know, iron ore, I think we're number 1. We are a wealthy country. But it doesn't serve it down to the people. And this is a time where we as the GNU, we can't miss this bus.
Absolutely.
We don't have 30 years. We have 5 years to prove to people. And you know, when you have your minerals like South Africa, I mean, apartheid was number 1, we were the number 1 gold producing country.
Yeah.
In democracy, we are not even in the top 10. Surely you have to look in the mirror and say, we're doing something wrong. How do you explain this to me? And as a leader, this is the question that we are sieged with. We have the biggest and the highest amount of minerals, but we have the highest amount of unemployment.
Yeah.
We are messing up with generation after generation. And as a leader, my role in the GNU is to remind them. It's to remind our leaders to say, we have to mine our minerals. Trump has given us the best opportunity to do so. If he pulls PEPFAR, if he pulls AGOA, you know, it's like a girl that has a man that buys everything for her. And she's educated and she's smart, but she does nothing. This guy does everything for her. If that guy stops funding, she can use her smartness now. Let me apply for a job. We need to use our smartness because our sugar daddy is now talking about he's going to close the channels.
Yeah, it's a fascinating moment. And you mentioned the president. I wonder how your relationship with the president is, because you've been critical of him before. You're now in government with him. Talk us through that personal relationship. Well,
the personal relationship, very good question. The personal relationship, you know, he has shamed me and he's taught me in the same sentence. He has shamed me and he's taught me.
Wow.
I hated that man. We had very bad things to say about each other. But where he shamed me was he looked past whatever differences we had in order to include me in his cabinet. He has the last say when it comes to inclusion in his cabinet. By law, we serve at his behest. So when he called me and included me, I was ashamed. But I was also taught a lesson that, you know what? Maturity is blessing even your enemies, blessing the people that you differ with, and not overlooking people that you differ with, but you know they can add value. Everybody that knows me intimately and widely knows I can add value to this country. And he has looked past whatever he felt. That's the one part on personal. But secondly, you know, I used to call him consultative Cyril because he consults too much. Yeah. And this is where I have learned something is that he's a very effective leader. He listens to a lot of opinions. But what people don't know, at the end of the day, he then takes a decision. Being informed by he's not impulsive.
Sure.
You know, I listened to him this morning. We were at the golf course, and somebody said to him, "What is up with Kagame? Why don't you go for Kagame? He's going for you."
Yeah.
And he said that person very calmly to say, "I'm a president. There's a manner in which, but if I, McKenzie, was the president, and Kagame comes for me like that, I would have come the same way, yo, master, that, you did. And there's a lot of maturity in him.
Sure.
I do think that it's frustrating sometimes for a guy like me that he is in an organization that is he also is a broad church. Now, the unions he has to consult. He has to consult the left in his party. He has to consult the center left, in the middle, in the far right. There's different people because the ANC is a broad church.
Yeah, sure,
in the PA we are a very conservative right-wing party. So leftists in the party, we don't consult them because that's not who we are. And we are not a broad church in the party I'm from.
And you're clear about that.
No, I'm unapologetic about like these things you guys talk about democracy. There's no democracy in the party. We don't have those things in the Patriotic Alliance, and I'm not shy about it.
I think that's what people like about you.
There's no democracy. Listen, in the Patriotic Alliance, you must never join. There's no democracy. When the leaders have spoken, that's the line of march. You see, in democracy, it's always the guy with money that wins. And it's always the guy that is the most cunning that will take an election.
Sure.
With us, like now with the mayors, we look at the person. This is a leader. Might not have money, but I'm not going to put him in competition with somebody that has more resources than him. We have leaders that don't have a outgoing personality or they're not flamboyant. But he's a leader. Now you want to put him against the one that's flamboyant, outgoing, but there's nothing here. So in PA, there's no democracy. And I say that with my chest.
Sure.
I now see MK is following us of no elective conferences. MK is following PA. They're also now saying there's no elective conferences.
Yeah.
By PA, we will never have an elective conference. Elective conference does not put jobs on the table. Our people will say, our party is democratic. Your people have jobs with your democracy.
I think people would much rather you say that with your chest and explain your position than pretend to be democratic or do some sham election and then not actually really be democratic. And your brand of politics has been educational to me because it feels like we're in an authenticity vacuum. Like politicians just say what they think people would like to hear. And you've pierced through by just being you. And no one can deny that you're one of the most well-known, popular politicians. Where did that brand come from? Is that just like your authentic self? Did you think about how to position yourself? And when you got into the ministry, I was expecting, okay, now we might hear more like normal political speak, but you've managed to maintain authenticity while being in state office. How do you do that?
That's just who I am. I can tell you two incidences where I embarrassed friends of mine. I'll tell you two incidences of who I am. Let me tell you the one 2 days ago. Robbers of myself.
Our mutual friend now.
Yes, Rob, myself, the king of the Royal Bafokeng.
Yeah.
And we're having dinner at a friend's. We've got a mutual friend. All of us had a mutual friend from Germany. And he invited us for dinner. He's got a penthouse, a big the biggest penthouse, most expensive penthouse in South Africa. So he says we should come for dinner. So we go for dinner. And then you have the Minister of Mining of Nigeria, I think, were there. A lot of ministers from because it's mining guys that I know from my previous life.
Yeah.
So as we were sitting there at the dinner, these are captains of industry, billionaires.
Sure, globally.
I'm probably the poorest guy in that room. So as we sat down, everything was going well. I was sitting next to the king of the Bafokeng. Next moment, we talk about how we can help Africa, how Africa should become better, how we should all play a role. And one guy from Malaysia, a very influential guy in Malaysia, says, you see the problem with you Africans, you don't go to your own hospitals. You don't make such sweeping, insulting statements. And I was waiting for the host to call him to order, and the host didn't. And I said, the king, please, my apologies. I said, listen, why you speak like Malaysia is the gold standard of what is right and wrong?
Yeah.
Do you know how poor some Malaysians are when you say Africans are poor? You mustn't come talk nonsense. That's what you're saying is just nonsense. And then the dinner was over, like nobody ate dessert.
Wow.
But and I'm saying to you that that's just who I am.
Sure.
You know, I've got this friend of mine, a very good friend in Nigeria. His name is Rochas Okorocha. Very flamboyant Senate member. He was Imo State, he was the big shot there. And Rochas Okorocha once said, I was visiting him, he's a very good man, does a lot of charity. And he had 3 of the well-known billionaires that you all know were sitting there. And then the conversation went in. So I was with Terry and Bakang, which was my chief of staff, ex-chief of staff. Next moment, this well-known billionaire start talking about South African women. How easy they are. I just said, no. You see, your problem is you come from Nigeria and you think this woman that you meet here are South African women. You guys just meet I said, you don't meet proper South African women. Don't you come and talk here. Talk nonsense here. It became so bad that he asked them to leave.
Wow.
So I'm making those 2 examples to say, I don't care the circumstances.
Sure.
I am just a very straightforward person. And what people don't know about me, I tell you what people don't know about me. People think that they'll say, hey, this man is excited to be a minister.
Sure.
This man is excited for the blue lights. My daughter is 14 years old. The other day, she said to me, Dad, I've got a craving for ice cream. This was like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And she was visiting me. I said, oh, fine, let's go and get ice cream. She's like, how? I said, come. So I start one of the cars in the yard. And she's like, Daddy, you can drive. She's never seen me drive.
Wow.
That was the first time she saw me. So when people say, oh, now he's being driven, he gets excited.
Absolutely.
This was a downgrade for me, the cars I'm driving now compared to my fleet.
Sure.
I am, what people don't know about me, I'm always excited. I was excited in jail. I was the funniest guy in jail. I would make jokes. I would be the joker in jail.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be the joker at work. I make jokes in cabinet. I make lots of jokes all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just who I am. I'm not faced by blue lights and the things people say. So I laugh on Twitter when a person with half data is saying to me, yeah, he's just excited for the blue lights. I'm like, my brother, don't say that. I'm just a happy person. I don't hold grudges. I'm just a happy person. That's who I am. Because I've learned the most important lesson in life. Stay away from miserable people. I hate miserable people. I make jokes. In our party, they know I make jokes. I'll tell them jokes. I'll tell them stories.
Yeah.
And I've learned that works for me. So I'm not excited. Tomorrow when I'm getting reshuffled and I'm no longer minister and I'm just an ordinary MP, I will still be the funniest MP around there because I love people and I love jokes.
You made that famous joke in front of Judge Zondo. Was that like spur of the moment? Or
Yes, because I came there, nobody talks. It's like a funeral.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, is this going to be us every day with this new minister?
I thought this was a celebration.
And all you hear people go like, conscientiously. They practicing the word that's giving problems there. You remember there was a word conscientiously. So people were struggling with that word. So people going like, I just see people going, conscience. So I'm laughing. Then I see, so I just walk there and he says, can you please sit down? I said, the last time a judge told me to sit down, I said for 10 years. I never knew that thing will cause such. I was just talking about normal nonsense I usually speak.
It's refreshing, and I can imagine within cabinet, you're quite vocal. Of course, you're bound and you can't talk about everything that's happening in cabinet, but do you believe that the GNU is holding, because we have seen early this year some tensions around the Expropriation Act, around NHI, which is coming down the line. But at the same time, we have seen after the Lekgotla, those tensions seem to ease. Can you tell us as a nation, because we're super curious about what's like, I would pay millions of rands to just sit and just watch the personal dynamics. How do you feel things are going, honestly?
You know, there's some people when they have, I'm trying to make an example. I look at, let me show you in a relationship. I once saw an article when thing was down here, Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
Swiss Beats came to open our nightclub many years ago.
Cool.
And Swiss Beats was like, just, my baby. And he was talking to Alicia Keys the whole time, because he was with us. Like, he was just head over heels. And I remember my manager at the club, she's like, that wouldn't last. That's what the manager told me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you know? She's like, how you gain them is how you lose them, and blah, blah, blah. Now, the other day, I just went through and I saw Swiss Beats buying a gift for his wife. And I think it's like more than 15 years now.
Sure.
And that's the GNU. I'm not saying it will last 15 years. But I was in London to have a meeting there with the Eckley group to watch the Springbok game. And I was asked that there's 15 billionaires that wants to have lunch with me. And they specifically want to have lunch with me. Can I see them? I said, yes. So I met the billionaires, South African billionaires residing in London. And they said, we only have one question. Will the GNU last? We ask for you because we know we're going to get the truth from you.
Yeah.
And as they were sitting like this, I told them, yes, the GNU is going to last. They said, why? I said, I'll tell you 2 reasons why the GNU is going to last. The GNU is going to last for number one, that we know that South Africa will never forgive any party that collapses the GNU. South Africa will never forgive that party. And every party knows that. That's the number one reason. I'll tell you the biggest reason. I'll tell you the biggest reason. I don't even think we like each other inside there. I don't know if we like each other or not. But what I do know, I know we damn hate the guys outside.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know for a fact that the guys outside, you will not open the door for them to come in.
Yeah.
I mean, you get EFF, I think they're on record saying, we are waiting.
Yeah.
Are they going to wait forever? The dynamics inside that, this I'm allowed to tell you.
Sure.
I tell you something that I've picked up there is that, yes, you know, and you can see, I always heard them saying the president is a master negotiator.
Yeah.
But what they don't say, he's the glue. Like inside there, there's no ANC-DA, IFP, PA, UDM, PAC, RICE or whatever. There's none of that. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you. You know what I find funny? Inside, I fight for Abahambe. I fight for mass deportation.
Yeah.
But I can tell you something that people don't know. There are people that fight harder than me in that cabinet. I'm like, huh?
Wow.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I went there for Abahambe. I pushed Abahambe inside. But I'm not, if they have to have a machine to say who has fought for Abahambe the most.
Yeah.
Not wanting to embarrass people, but you'll be shocked to see there are people that fight for that.
Wow.
They fight for that.
Wow. Okay.
Yesterday, I'm allowed to tell you this. Yesterday, you know, I love Patricia de Lille. Yesterday, I was disagreeing with her all the time.
Sure.
And agreeing with Minister John Steenhuisen. That's the type of dynamics. ANC guys will disagree with me and agree with the DA. DA guys will disagree with everyone and then agree with PA.
Because we assume all the parties
No.
are,
There's no party structure in the... And you know, in that you can see that he's a master, the president. If I have to criticize the president, it will be on one thing. You know, I think they sometimes take too long to act decisively. You see, even when they've taken a decision, like for instance, when the foreigners killing the children near the shops, they will still act softly. They must never make that mistake to leave me in charge. You know, I see ministers are getting, it was NG, Gwede, when the president acting.
Oh, the acting president.
They must never make that mistake.
You'll be president for the rest of your life.
No, not even that. That 2 days or 3 days that they are gone. When they come back, they will not recognize. They'll be like, we're coming back, turn the plane around. But
President Ramaphosa is no longer.
They will say, President, turn back. They must never. I will start that Hillbrow, I will remove people, I will do. The plane will turn back there by the equator. Turn back by the equator, turn back.
Okay, so we know when there's an acting president, Gayton McKenzie, like, it's going to be
let me tell you, it's going to be, that mistake they must never make. You remember the late Mango Sutu went to war. Until when Mandela left him. I'm that time.
We might end up in a war of our own.
Not mine. What did Rwanda say? This miners, illegal miners.
Yeah.
They should, if I was that weekend, let's say I was the one in charge that weekend, I'll be like, buy cement, buy lots of cement, bring the cement trucks. I'll close those holes.
Yeah.
Before that cement is dry, they will fly out of there. I can't negotiate with them.
Can you appoint me Minister of Communications when that happens?
I must, because you'll be able to soften my message. Say, no, the minister, he just want to build the minds. It was like,
yeah, exactly. We can talk. No, it's actually amazing to me when I listen to you as a political analyst before the election, the things that you have been able to foresee. Let's be honest, the Patriotic Alliance you did say is going to do very well and people wrote you off. I may even have been one of them. And and you proved us wrong. You've also spoken quite a bit about President Zuma. You wrote a book which was interesting and insightful on President Zuma, but you were able to say that MK is going to be a real thing as well. How do you think of opposition to the GNU at the moment? Because we also have an EFF that is struggling, I think is the best way of saying that. And you've had an interesting long-running relationship with Julius Malema. How do you think opposition to the GNU is shaking out right now?
All right, let me start with EFF. I think EFF is going to have, it's not the end of Julius.
Sure.
But it's going to go through a rough election 2026 because he's going through something that will benefit him much later. What hurts him now will not kill him, but it will hurt him badly the next election because he now has to sit and say who's really with him or against him. Because Floyd has left a lot of sleepers in the EFF, and that's very dangerous for him. What Floyd has done to him is what Zuma has done to the ANC.
Sure.
Zuma still has a lot of sleepers in the ANC structures. But I think, because Malema is a very intelligent guy, he's very intelligent.
Yeah, absolutely.
He will be able to turn the ship around over time. Not immediately. Nobody's that intelligent. Nobody's that lucky.
Sure.
In 2028, you'll see the ship slowly turning. That's my opinion. Where President Zuma is concerned, I can tell with one thing is that I like him a lot. I got a lot of respect for him, but I disagree with him a lot more than most people. People underestimate President Zuma. Let me tell you why I told people he's going to do well.
Yeah.
You know, President Zuma is going to, if the only thing that can stop him is not the ANC. That's why everyone makes a mistake. They expect the ANC to stop the President Zuma can't be stopped by the ANC. He knows them. President Zuma can be stopped by the GNU. Because President Zuma has put his political future to say the GNU is a sellout position.
Yeah.
Now, if the sellout position is giving people jobs, is giving people opportunities, people will be like, Zuma was nonsense.
Yeah.
He's talking nonsense. He brought nonsense. Here's the GNU, I work for us. Here's the GNU, it's working for us. So the only thing that can stop it. But the problem in the African National Congress, and they don't want to hear this, but they have to hear this. They are more concerned with 2027 than 2026. They're more concerned, people are, let me make you an example to show you how foolish they are in the name of renewal. The Constitution says a person, in PA you can kill somebody, I will not remove you. I'm not a court. Let the court do their work. Let the court do their work. We'll say, are you innocent? You say, President, I didn't kill that person. I'll be like, shut, let's work. The Constitution of this country is clear. A person is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law.
Sure.
There's JP Smith. The same DA puts pressure on the ANC. How could you have, what was the Justice Minister? Tembi. How could you have Tembi there? Tembi made a loan. No matter what, she made a loan.
Sure.
We all make loans at a time in our lives. Now, they put pressure, Tembi must go. There's JP Smith. The police was never in Tembi's house, office. True. The police are there. The DA is leaving him. The very same people that said the ANC is eating themselves up. The enemies are using renewal. Now I'm mentioning them because now is not a time to lose soldiers. I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you chase power, you're gonna have a corpse. You will rule over a corpse. I am just saying that. I'm not saying people should do crime or wrong things and they should be left.
Sure.
We have courts. We have courts that can decide the guilt or the innocence of this person. The ANC, if they don't wake up, if there's not somebody that goes to the ANC and say, come here, and set them down and say, what you are doing, you're going to destroy. Tambo, Oliver Tambo, in exile, without power, gave them a whole organization. He gave them an organization that was persecuted, but he managed to carry this thing to say, Mandela, take. In power, what are they going to hand over to their children?
Yeah.
But they don't want somebody to speak like me to them. You see, the problem dealing with me is I'm not desperate for this job. So you can say, I say what I want to say.
Sure.
You can decide, do you want me on this side with you? Or do you want me on the outside fighting you? So I'm not desperate to be a minister. That's why I speak.
Sure.
Zuma has got one big thing that is going to propel him forward. He's surrounding himself with people that can take this that can take it the next step forward. Because we project our wishes on Zuma. He's old. He's what? But Floyd is not old. Dali is not old. Sure. The people that surround him, they're not old. Those are thinkers that can take this thing forward.
Sure.
Now when you come to me and say Zuma's old, yes, Zuma's old. But have you seen how he jumps on stage? My issue is that Zuma does not have the heart or the mind to destroy the ANC. That's the one weak point that they should use. Zuma should have been sat down with. Because whatever differences there are can be bigger.
Sure.
I don't know, do you hear what I'm trying to say to you?
Absolutely, and especially with that generation when they've given their whole lives to the party, they always, that soft spot can never be taken away for the ANC.
No, listen, I've never met men that love the ANC like the generation of Zuma and Ramaphosa.
Absolutely.
That generation.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Now I'm saying, you tell me you can't find a truth. Even with Zuma, this is not only the ANC's fault. Even Zuma, he's also to blame.
Sure.
You tell me this organization of Tambo. You know, I met people they look at us like, hey, Mapantiti, whatever. I met Ayanda today, Ayanda Glodlo. And that woman, I met her today at the golf. I was so emotional when I saw her because I remember when we went to the funeral of an MK soldier. My mother's brothers passed on in the struggle. And I went to one of the funerals. It was Makasi's funeral. Makasi, Commissar Makasi. I couldn't believe that this man, they had to put together money for food.
Yeah.
I then said, before Zuma was president, I said, our company will give millions to bury every soldier, to bring the... People don't know that part. And he sent Ayanda Glodlo, Spax Mutseki, Kebi Mapatswe, and we gave them millions, myself and Kenny Kunene, business, so that they can bury people decently. Yeah. Millions. Sure. And Ayanda came with a file to me, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, every funeral we've had, I just want to show you how the money was spent. When she left, I told my accountant, I'm sure they took half the money. My accountant come back, it's like saying, she's never seen accounting like that. She accounted for everything there. So when she was at the World Bank, I'm like, I'm not shocked.
We're done, yeah.
I'm just saying on this topic, to end this topic, is that the struggle for the emancipation of the black man economically cannot be lost at the altar of egos and position changing. MK, EFF, and the ANC, they will live in infamy forever if they can give power back to the white man. Sure. And at the rate it's going now, you can call me every name, you can fire me tomorrow, I don't care. I will even thank you guys for the fact that you've made me a minister. I'm not desperate for this thing. But I can tell you one thing. History will be very unkind to all of them. History will be unkind because if the white man, one thing you would say about the white man is not stupid, he's calculated.
Sure.
It's calculated to affect that. They're looking at them and they know we will get power. And you know what's going to give them power? This unity amongst this party. They want to blame Malema and say they are wrong. Malema didn't want unity. How can a man that has seats already in parliament, seats already in thing that has started the organization, must now come fall under President Zuma and he must fold his party?
Sure.
That's impossibility. Any man that agrees to that, imagine you come to me now, I must now fold PA.
Yeah.
I must now go in a new party called FA, and just make an example. I can never do that. Now, don't make demands of people. MK can't demand for the ANC to chase Cyril Ramaphosa away. Sure. What type of person chase their leader away to a peace, for sake of peace? We make demands of each other as black people that we know is unreasonable, so we can go back to the gallery. I'm unapologetic. I look at these people and say, we'll never vote for you again. My people will vote for me. You see, I listen to them on Twitter. You'll never get my vote. You're going back to what? I'm like, you playing?
Yeah.
The people that know PA, they're going to vote for me because they understand where we are going. This is a clarion call to say that this country is going back to white people.
Sure.
I'm telling you today.
Wow.
Do not look at it. Do you know, I look at Freedom Front Plus and DA. They can argue as much as they like. But when it comes to the future of the white child,
they find each other.
Yeah. These ones of us, and I include me in that.
Sure.
I include myself also in that. We can't find each other.
Wow.
Because it got to do with the future of the black child, but with the future of the white child. And the party that is going to survive, I hope is a party that includes all races. If we can move past this. But at the moment, I asked my white friends yesterday, I said, I never knew I've got racist friends. They said, what do you mean? Rob Hersov was one of them. I said to Rob in his face, and he's going to watch this so he can say if I'm lying. I said, why don't you speak up? You stay in 100 million rand house, I told him. You now tonight you're flying to Dubai in a big jet. It was your only way to Dubai when I said that to him. I said, why don't you speak up? You know white people are not being oppressed. You know their farms are not being taken. You, Rob Hersov, that has an opinion about everything, speak up. And he did the next day. And I was proud of that. But what I'm saying is that in South Africa, you look at me, a lot of people will insult me because of my past. The one thing they miss is, forget politics. There's a lesson in the life of Gayton McKenzie. Like, it is a lesson of you can rise above your circumstances. You can be whoever you want to be in life if you are focused.
Yeah.
I'm not being made by politics. Nobody makes it on their own. I hear people say they're self-made. There's no self-made man. We need people along the way. You know, we discussing you the other day and somebody says, you're going to be the biggest podcast in South Africa. I said, and they said to me, I said, he would have been the biggest already. He's got one big mistake. They said, what? I said, his name. Nobody can remember the name of the podcast.
True. I wish we never called it that, actually.
No, but you can still change it.
Sure.
You are not on a plane where you get about to go to the thing. I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
you smart, you humble, but nobody remembers the name. But the content they remember.
Absolutely.
So you got to, KFC, nobody wants to say Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, sure. X.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was more hip-hoppy.
Yeah.
Like it was birthed out of your,
True.
me and you, we both have a laugh for hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying to you.
I hear you.
Thank you.
And you know, every time I speak to someone about it, they're like, oh, I love that podcast of yours. I can't remember what it's called, but I love it. And
Okay.
yeah.
We're changing the show's name.
GMX. So, Minister, we've spoken a lot about the political situation in the government, but you also have your own priorities in your ministry, and you've really hit the ground running. I mean, the artist list was something that was fascinating to me because you brought transparency and there was a lot of noise, but it captured the imagination of the country. And you seem to have a unique ability to capture people's imagination. We've got the Formula One bid coming. Can you talk us through some of the priorities in your ministry and what you're doing to move forward the wider GNU agenda?
No, definitely. Let me tell you what makes me, you say I capture people's imagination. People love people that are intentional. If you date somebody and the person sees you are intentional about your love for them, and I'm intentional. I'm intentional about doing things. I'm intentional about changing people's lives. When I became the minister, I made two big things where everybody warned me, don't do that, don't do that. My friends were sending me the same message. I said, I'm going to make spinning one of the biggest sports in South Africa.
Yeah.
I said, if I don't get the F1, I'll be the biggest failure. They're like, why do you put yourself in that position? But that's putting pressure on me. It's not promises. Today, spinning is being sponsored by Kappa. Today, spinning is being sponsored, they got a chief sponsor of Cell C, pumping millions in spinning.
Brilliant.
Here in the Western Cape, where we are, people were arrested for their cars spinning. Now, the DA government is also one of the leading governments to make, and I must take my hat off for them. You know, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I'm flattered that they now, the same guy, JP, that I spoke about earlier, that used to arrest the spinners, he's now encouraging them to spin. As far as F1 is concerned, and spinning is really growing in leaps and bounds. F1, I was intentional. I met with the, because there was a lot of egos. South Africa has been to the altar twice, was F1.
Right.
Never got married. There was billionaires involved, politicians involved. Every Tom, Dick and Zabulani had something to say regarding the F1. They wanted it.
Yeah.
I took this thing by the horns. I said, back off. The president has given me the powers. This is how we're going to do this thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you today, 2027, we are getting this thing. People say Rwanda. I'll come to Rwanda now. The F1 is not about cars. People think it's about motorsport only. It's about real estate. It's about showcasing your country. It's about tourism. It's about the business of sport. It's about networking. The average soccer fan is a 3-star guest. The average soccer supporter will live in a 3-star. It's very rare that you get the Formula One guy not living in 5-star. He'll go to 4-star, but most of them. So they're spending euros and dollars. Now, what I'm saying is that we are not this is not a hobby. How you must know that F1 is a great thing. Africa does not have a F1. and the European countries, if F1 was a waste of money, they would have made sure it was here.
Sure.
But the fact that they are fighting to keep it tells you there's value in this proposition called F1. So F1 is coming. We are working by the book. Yeah, you have one or two stupids that's trying to try old things with me, but that will not work with me.
Sure.
I'm focused. Then the issue of the Olympics are coming in 2036 to South Africa. I've got no doubt in my mind. We are working very hard. Wow. I've also met the boss of the Olympics, the IOC president. I've met the committee dealing with it. They've guided us. So I didn't hear rumors and I didn't just go to the papers.
Yeah.
I'm following up on the things that I'm saying. But what I'm most excited about is two things. I said I'm bringing back VAR.
Yeah.
Everybody says I'm lying. I can put a date. April, we are purchasing VAR, end of April.
Wow.
I am meeting the La Liga people, they want to assist in the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
La Liga.
Wow, for football.
For football.
Wow.
They want to assist with VR.
Wow.
I am meeting the people of the English Premier League.
Fantastic.
They want to assist. I'm going to both places
Yeah.
to go and meet them and see how far do they want to assist.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the first thing I'm excited about. The second thing is...
The Chiefs fans will be very happy with you.
I was sitting next to President Thabo Mbeki and he asked me, I see you're not getting shocked or you're not getting happy when your team, which team are you?
Yeah.
Are you one of the two teams? Are you Chiefs or Pirates? He asked me. I said, no, President. I was born in Bloemfontein. My constitution does not allow me to, I'm a Bloemfontein Celtics supporter, even if the team doesn't exist. And that's another example. I have seen the people of Free State struggling with the team. And every time there's somebody wants to be in the newspaper, they say, I'm bringing the team back. And then the community will get happy, only to be disappointed again. I love that community so much because I'm from there. I can't take this suffering anymore. So I've spoken to people and say, purchase Celtic and take it back. People that I trust with my life. And if they don't purchase and take it back, I will go in my own pocket.
Wow.
And that's the promise I've made to the people in Bloemfontein. Celtic will be back come this thing. Not because of what, because I love those people and I see their pain and I hear their cries. And I'm in a position, God put me in a position that I would be able to have the means to bring the team back. Then I'm very excited about school sport. But the first thing I need to concentrate on, Cyril, I need to fix. You can't have school sport and there's no place to train. You can't have sport and there's no equipment. So tomorrow we are launching the first time Super Sport and SABC working together. SABC showing the content of Super Sport, school sport.
Wow.
So we're doing stuff in stages. Once we have the equipment, once we have the soccer fields, the hockey fields, all of that, we're now making it competitive in the schools. So it's not the way people look at it like, it's just going to be, school sport is back, bah. With which equipment?
Sure.
With on which fields are the kids going to practice after hours? So that's where we're starting. And people are going to see I'm passionate about art. And I'm going to change. The most important one for me is the artists, the creators.
You've spoken about their dignity and the need for them to be truly remunerated for their work.
And that's what, you see, some of the artists are talented. You can't be talented in everything. I can't sing to save my life, but I've got business savvy. I've got commercial sense.
Yeah.
So some of them sings like angels, but they have no commercial sense. I've met, for instance, with, what is this? Not Tidal, the other one.
Spotify?
Spotify.
Yeah.
I've met with Spotify.
Yeah.
I said, explain to me how artists get paid. In that explaining, I already saw what I'm cutting, what I'm fixing. So that I can help artists with my commercial sense as the minister.
Yeah.
And this is the year we will change the lives of artists. People say, why didn't you sign the copyright amendment bill? They've never read the bill, but it comes on Twitter with half data and tells me to. if you read that thing, it tells you that there is something in the clause they call fair use. You can't have fair use. I'm a publisher. I own a publishing company.
Okay. Wow.
I sold it now when I became a minister. But the publishing company, I've got books which I am owning. I own my work. You're never going to use one sentence. There's 2 sentences one university wanted to use. They paid me. They paid me. For those 2 sentences in my book, they paid me for 2 sentences. There's no fair use by me. You don't go to McDonald's and say, a burger is 50 rands, but I've got 35 rands. Be fair, give me. Why should our artists have that? So I'm just saying that I don't need 3 years to prove myself. All I'm asking people, because I've inherited the budget of the former minister Zizi Kodwa.
Sure.
Now it's my budget, my priorities. They must give me 1 year. After 1 year, if I don't change, when they don't see me changing the majority of their lives, then I'm hopeless. I must go back to mining.
Well, Minister Gayton McKenzie, it's been incredible to have you here. And either you're going to go back to mining or they're going to make you the acting president and then you'll be
that
you'll
one,
be
you
done.
must forget about that. You must forget. I'm sure Gwede will be sick in bed. He'll be like, I'm Fudin, I'm coming, not Mackenzie.
But it's been great having you. Thank you for the work you do for our country. And thank you for coming back onto this platform. It's been a real honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Help us get to 300,000 subscribers.
300,000. Let me tell you, with the PA people, you've definitely got to go to 300.
We're done now.
Yeah, 300,000. Let us push. 300, whatever. If you want to see, 300. Let's go. PA somebody buys money. 300,000. Come, subscribe.
Love it.
Yes.
Hey, because last time they came for me and I've never recovered.
I will be able to buy money.
No, they don't. I can confirm they don't. Faizan.
Salute.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Fam, just want to give a shout out to 2 incredible partners who have helped make this podcast possible. First up, a massive thank you to Curiocity Cape Town for providing us with top-tier accommodation while we were in the city. They also gave us the stylish studio from which to shoot. Also, a massive thank you to Pace Car Rental for supporting us with transport during our time on the road, getting us to the key interviews and covering all the important events. So, if you're ever in Cape Town next time, check out Curiosity for your accommodation. And if you ever need a car rental company, you know, as an SMWX subscriber, you need to show love to Pace Car Rental. Aye.